Welcome back, everybody, for another episode of Jolly SEO's TLDR. Today, we are joined by Jason Barnard, entrepreneur. And Jason, I know you are an award-winning innovator. What I'm excited, last week you just taught me a whole lot, and we're going to share that with the audience today. So thank you so much for coming on.
Brilliant. Yeah, thank you. The award-winning part is actually for EdTech. I built a platform that delivered multimedia games to children, 60 million children, 1 billion page views in 2007.
That's amazing.
That's worth the award.
Is that platform still running today?
Yeah, my ex-business partner took it over and he didn't know how to run a platform of that scale. And so it's tiny now. Whereas we used to compete with the BBC, PBS, Disney. We were up there with the biggest. We were the 10,000th biggest website in the world, according to Alexa, which used to be a traffic measuring platform before it was an assistant. And unfortunately, he didn't realize that without me actually running this incredibly advanced, ahead of its time platform would become impossible. And so people stopped using it because it didn't work so well. And now it's tiny.
Okay, so we won't be looking that up, but I invited you on because you started to teach me on your show,
Yes.
Kalicube's expertise, which is the knowledge panel. And for the new listener, if I thought that what Jolly SEO is doing to build up your brand was useful, I always recognize it's a piece of the puzzle.
Yes.
We started your episode with, you've got over your shoulder there, one of your clients, Scott Duffy, and then you looked at my knowledge panel, which is minuscule compared to his. So I just am excited today to dive into maybe 2 or 3 other things people can do to have a way more fleshed out presence. I know we won't get to be 10,000th biggest, but maybe get us somewhere along the way.
Yeah, it's all right. Absolutely. What's been interesting with Kalicube is I started it in 2015, looking at the search engine results pages for people and corporations, brands, what we call brand SERPs. Then knowledge panels came along. So I focused on knowledge panels because they're a huge part of the search engine results pages for people and companies. And luckily for me, or if I'm smart, maybe, when AI ChatGPT came along, that was the natural extension. So we've gone through this natural extension, focusing on brand, because the future of AI search with ChatGPT and Google is brand, which is why you're so useful and we're so useful. And knowledge panels kind of sit there somewhere in the middle, where when somebody searches your name and they see a list of blue links, they think, great, doesn't really tell me very much. I'm not really very impressed. They're going to be bottom of funnel. They know who you are and they're thinking of doing business with you. If they search your name and they see a magnificent knowledge panel, and that's the thing on the right and at the top with the colorful cards at the top, if you're lucky, and the information box on the right-hand side that says from Google, this is what I understand the facts to be about this person, and this is my stamp of approval. So you can look at knowledge panels, Google stamp of approval for your bottom of funnel audience who are researching you before making a decision to purchase, to work with you, to partner with you.
So is this, Jason, is this Wikipedia page or bust? Like if you don't have a Wikipedia page, you got no shot?
I love that question because it hasn't been Wikipedia or bust for 9 years, but people think it is. So Google has a very different notion of notability to Wikipedia. Wikipedia is, I should be in Wikipedia if people are going to spontaneously search my name and research me and try and figure out who I am without actually having anything to do with me. So, Johnny Depp, Mohamed Salah, the footballer from Liverpool Football Club, they deserve a Wikipedia page. Unfortunately, Greg, you don't. But that's not a problem because Google doesn't care. What it cares about, number one, is do I understand this person? And you will get a knowledge panel if it understands you confidently. The knowledge panel will only trigger when somebody searches your name if you're the most famous person with that name. So if you're called Bob Smith, you've got a problem. You'll get a knowledge panel, you just won't see it when somebody searches the name Bob Smith because Bob Smith, there has to be a very famous Bob Smith. Or if you think about, oh yeah, Bob Smith, the singer from The Cure, Robert Smith. So lucky, I just picked a name like that and he is actually very, very famous and you'd have no hope. So there's a difference between Google understanding you and attributing you a knowledge panel where it says, I understand this person, and that knowledge panel appearing when somebody Googles your name.
Yep.
So you have a tiny knowledge panel and your question is, how do I build it up?
This is exactly what I've seen in building for the last 9 years, my personal brand. There is another Greg Heilers, I think he's in Iowa, runs marathons. And so for the first 5 years or so, it was always his name. And then somewhere in the last few years, I replaced him on page one. And just last week we were on your show and I saw, wow, I do have a baby knowledge panel now. And that didn't even exist. So It's fascinating. I'm going to steal your phrase you said pre-recording here. You, like us, said that most people can DIY this stuff.
Yeah.
The real trick is, again, as I've seen over the years, is you said consistency over time and space. I think the time we all get, but if it's not just Wikipedia anymore, what spaces are we talking about?
Right. Well, I'll give you the other extreme to Wikipedia.
Okay.
There's somebody who works at my company called Bernadette, and she has a magnificent knowledge panel. She is only present on our website, theorg.com, and a couple of social media profiles. That's it.
Hey, hope you're enjoying the show. We're going to get right back to it. Real quick, if you're not sure how you're showing up in AI tools like ChatGPT, Perplexity, and the like, click on that first link in the description. If you fill that out for us, we'll send you your own AI visibility report and see how we can help you boost your results. All right, without further ado, remember that link and enjoy the rest of the show.
Then what's going on? Why does Google recognize her?
Because Kalicube is very authoritative for knowledge. So we now have a new concept. So think about domain authority, and you obviously use that as a key metric. And it's a very useful key metric. That's all about popularity. So if you think about the worst rag magazine you can, in the UK, it would be OK, or The Sun. In America, have you got a name of a terrible rag that tells lies all the time?
National Enquirer, things of that sort.
That's going to have a very high domain authority, but Google doesn't trust it, just like we don't trust it.
Right.
So you also have a brand authority, and it's the company behind the website that counts. Does Google or AI or Microsoft trust the brand who is publishing the publisher? So when we talk about EEAT, expertise, experience, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness, which is the big new thing in SEO that you help with, because by helping people with publishing articles and publishing quotations within articles, you're building all of those aspects. They're demonstrating experience, they're demonstrating expertise, they're demonstrating authority because they're trusted by the publisher. And once again, here I'm saying the publisher. If the person writing a piece of content is trusted by Google, they have high EEAT credibility, and the publisher is trusted by Google, high EEAT credibility, then the information in that page becomes very believable, very credible, and very trustworthy.
Yeah, this is why for our audience, we do earned link building, not paid.
Yeah.
It's not because we don't want to spend money. It's not obviously not that try. It's not because we think we're better than. It's because I look at link building as relationships, and I always say, in your personal life, who is it you want to send your brother to go meet? Is it the guy with a conviction record that you're not sure if his moral character, or is it the granny who bakes cookies for the neighborhood kids? It's that kind of real extreme dichotomy, but I think we're on the same page here that Google cares about the quality of your reputation, not just do you have one.
No, 100%. And so that credibility, the EEAT that Google talks about, we've extended it to notability and transparency. So we call it NEAT. And when you say notability, you think Wikipedia. But then Bernadette at Kalicube has her magnificent knowledge panel, but she's not notable in the normal sense. She's notable in the context of Kalicube. So notability is hugely niche. So for example, your cookie lady, she would be looking for not a Wikipedia page, but somebody writing a featured article in a local newspaper that Google trusts that isn't the National Enquirer.
Right.
So the locality is going to be very important. And also the industry is going to be very important. So cookie cutters of California would be great for that lady. The cookie cutters of California magazine, would be great for that lady.
Well, we talked about not just knowledge panel, maybe it is knowledge panel, but just in case I'm barking up the wrong tree here, we could consider AI as well.
Yeah.
Are we only talking about web pages, or are we talking, do you look at social media platforms or the directory type like Reddit? I know those are web pages, but I'm thinking about what other spaces we need to be involved in.
Which is a great lead into the how. So we can now get into the how. So download the guides, kalicube.com, kalicube.com/guides. And there's a 17-point guide to how to build a knowledge panel, and it's free. And I believe everybody has the right to control how Google and AI understand them, and a knowledge panel represents correct and accurate understanding and trust.
This is why we're here together, because again, we met and I was just telling you, hey, everyone can actually do what Jolly SEO does.
Yeah.
It's just, you want to accelerate it, you talk to Kalicube or you talk to Jolly. You want to do it yourself, go download the guide.
Yeah, I say knock yourself out because I quite like that phrase. But yeah, and the process is actually very simple. And like I say, in 3 steps, and I can explain it in a minute or 2. And I explained it to the baker downstairs. I'm in the south of France. I live above a bakery. I explained it to the lady who works there, and she completely understood it. She's got nothing to do with the internet, and she's not interested in knowledge panels. It's really simple. And when you have something this simple, you know that it's a fundamental truth. And when anybody can do it, you know you've simplified a very complex system, which is Google's understanding of the world, into a very simple solution. So we start with what we call the entity home. The entity home is where you live online in the machine of the brain, the brain of the machine. And it's the place it knows it can get the information about you from you. Now, ideally, that's the about page on your own website as a person, or the company website for a company. It can be a social media profile. It can be LinkedIn. It can be Wikipedia if you have a Wikipedia page, but I don't advise either. You want to have an owned website that is your entity home. So you pick the page. So I'll say about on my website, Jason Barnard. On your website, it would be your about page. You would think it would be the homepage, but the problem with the homepage is it already serves the purpose of helping your audience understand who you are, what you do, and that they want to do business with you, and doesn't lend itself to the factual bio that I'm going to describe now. So if you could create an about page that's dedicated to your bio, your AI resume that you're going to try and now communicate to the machines, you start at the top of the page, about name of person, and that has to be the H1. So if you're using WordPress, it's the title of the page, but just make sure that it's the H1, which is the main heading. Then you have what we call a semantic triple. Now that sounds really complicated, but it isn't. It's name of person is a thing that they do, a thing they want to be known for. Jason Barnard is a serial entrepreneur. So it's subject, verb, object. And then you describe who you are, what you do, and who you serve, and why you're credible. And you put any information about your history, where you were born, where you went to school, your previous jobs at the bottom of the page. So you do an upside down history of your life, starting with the big chunk, who you are now, what you do now, who you can serve now, and why you're credible now. That's really cool. You put your bestest photo at the top, you put your second bestest photo underneath that, and your third bestest photo underneath that. Then what you do is link out to all of your social media profiles, all of the articles you've written, unless you've written hundreds and hundreds, in which case you need our help. You link out to all of the pages on the web that talk about you. You then go to those pages and you add the same semantic triple, Jason Barnard is a serial entrepreneur, to each and every one of them. You use your bestest photo as often as you can on all of them. And you link back from them to that entity home if possible. You can link back to the home page, it doesn't really matter. And if you can't link back, it doesn't matter either. But if you can link back, do it. That's it.
It's awesome.
That's the whole game. And as I said, 2 minutes and the baker downstairs understands.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I think just to really make sure I got this, the baker downstairs understands, and we can use like a silly, stupid page builder like Card or something that I can even wrangle, or we need to build out something like custom.
No, about.me works as well. And that's free and it's rubbish. But no offense to about.me. I'm sorry. It serves its purpose. It does what it needs to do. That was very rude. It's not high domain authority. It's not a very important website, but it does the bio, the photo, and the links out incredibly well.
Yeah.
Problem is you don't own it.
Yeah.
And so if they close down or they change your page or they give your page to somebody else, you've lost control.
Yeah.
Same with LinkedIn, same with anything else. So you don't want to do this on rented property if you can possibly help it. So
by that extension, your teammate, who I'm not meaning this negatively, but it's kind of like using Calicube's authority, not that she's doing it intentionally, and it has created authority for herself. If one day she parted ways with Kalicube and you started removing her name because it's not her own website, she would lose.
It's a two-way street though, because her credibility is being built up, which brings credibility back to Kalicube. So it's a two-way game. And as a publisher, I bring credibility to her. As an author, as she builds up credibility, every time she writes something, it brings credibility back to me. So I could potentially now suggest to her, let's get you on featured and let's get you starting writing some articles on other resources, and we can link out to them and we create that linking backwards and forwards, or not even linking. As I said earlier on, you don't need the link because you can link from your entity home to that article, and Google and the AI then know it's you. Because that's their problem, is when they see your name on an article, it could be another Jason Barnard, it could be another Bernadette Brussola. And if you link to it, they know it's this one. If it
For
links
those-
back, they're double sure.
For those of our audience who are just like SEO, thinking about, I need the referring domain, consider flipping the script and you be the referring domain. You link out
Lovely.
to where your brand is mentioned.
I love the way you put that. And people are saying, oh, I don't want to link out. I'm going to lose my link juice. Link juice doesn't matter in this context. What does matter is what we call the infinite loop of self-corroboration.
What you've got, before I let you go, there's one more term you said the other day when we were recording a nerd podcast. It was the something trinity.
Yeah, the algorithmic trinity.
How many of these terms have you got? Do you know?
350.
Awesome.
Now, that's highly advanced, but it's a really nice idea, is that because optimizing for AI assistive engines or generative engine optimization, of which I'm a super duper expert, is so new, there are a lot of things that don't have a name.
You're right.
So I'm allowed to name them.
Indeed.
So that's what I've done. And I've just named everything that I wanted to describe. And they are things that other people talk about, but I give them a specific name that I use consistently.
Right.
And that allows me to own that particularly tiny niche. So in terms of dominating with your personal brand, it's all about owning tiny niches and then bringing those niches together to make a bigger niche. So it's a really, really, really nice approach because it isn't too much all in one go. And coining terms is a very, very good way to own a niche.
Who is this? And I know we're not focused just on the knowledge panel anymore. Who is this most suitable for? Is it an employee at an enterprise company, a freelancer? Who are you finding not just engaging you, but DIYing? Like what are the types of people who this is most applicable to?
Yeah, all of the above is the answer.
Okay. It's really just claiming and maintaining your personal brand.
Yeah. So actually, you've just said something, and I think it's really important to remember. I said time and space.
Yes.
So what we've just done is space, i.e. across the web, you're now in control. You're now a clear entity thing that Google and AI can understand with a clear home that they can go to double check on information about you. And they have that infinite loop of self-corroboration where they go back and forth between these resources and your website and keep coming back with the same message. That repetition helps them to understand and helps them to be, importantly, confident in the understanding. And then time is you need to maintain that over time. So every time there's a new profile, a new mention, a new article, you need to update your website and you need to pay attention to that article that it either links back to you, if you can, or at least within the article, it's incredibly clear that it's you. So that's the time aspect. And if you're doing it at a very small scale, like Bernadette is for the moment, that's easy. If you're doing it at scale like I am with podcast appearances, articles everywhere, video appearances, it becomes impossible to manage, which is why we have the Kalicube Pro platform that not only automates that whole process, keeps it all together in a really tight, unbreakable network, mini network of you, over time, over space. That's where you win the game. And the other thing that we do at Kalicube is that on your website, we install some of our tech stack that makes every piece of information on your website incredibly easy for the machines to digest, understand, and use.
So it's like a plugin or it's an update to the robot. Okay, very interesting.
Yeah, it's a mini WordPress plugin, but all of the action and the data, 9 billion data points on our data set, we just push it into WordPress from the outside. So we have an automated system and a very smart AI system that figures out what needs to be done to the website, what information needs to be there to help the machine to fully understand, and makes sure that all of that linking always makes sense, is always up to date. And I'll give you another example. Is somebody will delete a podcast episode without telling you. So you're then linking out to a dead page. That's awesome. For us, it's easy. For you, it's a lot of time. Sorry, just to answer that last question, I know you want to get going because we've got to keep this short, but who does this apply to? The answer is everybody. And if you take Bernadette's example, she's working for Kalicube today, she may work for somebody else in the future.
Yeah.
It's great for her to be able to say, well, I have this incredible authority within the space of personal brands in search and AI. And that brings a lot to the table. She's building up her own value as a human being and in the world of AI. Having that authority means that AI can't replace you because AI doesn't have the authority that you have, because AI is trying to identify the people who have the authority so that it doesn't get tricked by other AI. So all these people writing articles with AI, think about what you're doing, because you're going to lose your authority because you have no identity and nothing to truly hook onto. So that's number one. Number two is a CEO or a founder like myself, especially of B2B. People are going to Google my name or ask ChatGPT before they do business with me. They're going to do their due diligence, and I have to look great. I have to be the absolutely no-brainer choice. And my company, Kalicube, we're a publisher. We need that authority. We need to keep the machines believing in us and accepting the information we give, because that's how we're going to get them to send us the subset of their users who are truly our audience.
This has been awesome, Jason. I feel like we could go another couple episodes. I just hope people download the guide, kalicube.com/guides.